Hello and welcome to Cupcake Addiction's Popsicle Cake Pop tutorial, where I'll be showing you how to make this gorgeous little cake pop that looks just like a popsicle ice cream. Tools and equipment that we will be using today: I'm resting my ice cream popsicle cake pop in a polystyrene block. I've got a pair of scissors and a ziplock bag, a couple of popsicle sticks. I've got my cake pop balls. Now these are quite large, so I'm using 2 regular sized cake pop balls, and I'll be showing you how to make this lovely shape. This shape here I've already pre-refrigerated just so that we can get through the tutorial nice and quickly today. I've got a little bit of melted dark chocolate, some sprinkles, a little bit of melted white chocolate, a knife and a spoon. Obviously you guys can change this design up. You can make it different colors, different designs. I'm just showing you the basic idea. So let's get started. Now the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to make our basic shape. So you want to take your 2 cake pop balls, and this is really just to give you an indication of how much cake pop mixture we're using. So I'm just smushing them together and we'll just roll them into one big ball. And it's really quite simple here. It doesn't even need to be a particularly perfect ball. Just take your hands and just flatten it out. So it sort of flattens it out, I guess, into a bit of a big flat circle. I like to just slap it down on the bench just to give it a nice flat sort of an edge. And then you just want to take your fingers, leave one of the edges exactly as it is, because that's a really nice sort of an edge or a shape for the top of your popsicle. Don't worry if you've got a few little cracks like this around the place, but do try to pick your best edge. So I think this top one here is going to be the nicest. Now with this, you can see the size that I've flattened mine out to. So with my popsicle sticks, you really don't want this to be too small or it looks a little bit funny. So you want this to sort of come down just over half the size of your popsicle stick. So I'm just going to just push that down. We're just flattening it down. You also don't want these to be too thin this sort of a way, because otherwise when you do try to put your popsicle stick in, you risk cracking the cake pop. So you can see there I'm really just patting it and shaping it. Now when I'm happy I've got roughly the size that I need, I'm just going to slap it down on the bench again. Beautiful. I'm just going to round that top nicely with my fingers so that I'm really happy with that shape. And then I'm going to take my knife and I'm just going to slice across the bottom there. Perfect. So I'm looking at that. That's pretty good, but if you want to elongate it anymore, you can just sort of push it down until you're happy that you've got them all the same size. Now I would make all of these together so that you make sure that you've got all the same sized popsicle tops or bits of your ice blocks. That can then go into the fridge, and you want it in the fridge for about 15 minutes until it's completely set. So you want it to be really, really nice and firm. So like I said, we've got our one here that's been pre-refrigerated. So we've got our popsicle stick, and these are really, really widely available. Craft stores, you should be able to get them pretty much anywhere. I'm just going to dip that in about 1 inch or so into that dark chocolate. And then I'm going to leave my popsicle on the bench, and I'm going to come right down at eye level and slide in the middle, slide that popsicle stick in. Now you can see there I'm actually supporting it with my fingers on the top, and that's just to make sure that I don't push the popsicle out of shape and it doesn't crack. So here you've got it. I've sort of slid the stick into about here, so about 3/4 of the way up. Now pick it up off the bench, and you just want to just wipe your finger around there just so that you don't misshape your popsicle at all. So you should have something that looks like that. Now you want to let that chocolate seal completely set. Once that chocolate seal is completely set, then you can dip it in your dark chocolate. So I'm just going to pop mine back off into the fridge just for a couple of minutes until I'm happy that this little chocolate seal is completely set. All right, so we're back from the fridge and that chocolate seal has now completely set. So it's time to dip our popsicle. Now I'm just using dark chocolate, but as I mentioned, you can use any color combination you like. You just want to take that, and you can see I'm using quite a deep container. I'm actually using a cup because it's a nice deep container so that I can get my popsicle all the way down, because it is a little bit longer than usual. So I'm just going to dip that popsicle in. I'm just going to tilt it from side to side to make sure that I've got that chocolate covering all the way over the base of our popsicle, and then I'm going to pull it out. Now I tried a couple of these, and the easiest ways to tap these off is just hold it upside down and just tap your wrist. So don't be too tempted to turn it or twist it like we usually do, because I found that I didn't get a really even distribution of chocolate. And because we know that our decorations are going to go on the top here, if you do end up with a little bit of streaking or anything like that, it's all at the top and it gets covered up. All right, so I'm pretty happy that we've got most of our excess tapped off. Now once you've finished tapping, just turn it up and couple of quick taps on the wrist just to distribute any of that excess up at the top there. And you can see there we've got just a little bubble or a little bit of a bulge of chocolate. Don't worry about that. We're going to be putting the white chocolate on anyway. So now you just want to take it and we're just going to set it in the polystyrene block or whatever it is that you're using to dry your popsicle. We're going to let that completely dry and then we'll come back and we'll finish our decoration. All right, we're back. That one's completely dry, so touch dry, and it's time to decorate. Now you want to take your Ziploc bag and just spoon some of that white chocolate in there. And we're just using a Ziploc bag today just to get those nice little drizzles of white chocolate. Just push the chocolate down to the corner of the Ziploc bag. Make sure that you seal the bag so that you don't end up with chocolate spilling out the top and ruining your work. And then we're just going to cut just a bit of a tip off. Now, it doesn't really matter how big or small. Mine's going to be quite sort of chunky because it's not fine detailing. And the beauty of these is that I guess the messier they look, the more authentic they look. You kind of want this to look like it's all just dribbling. So now I'm just holding my bag at the top and I'm squeezing it. And then I'm going to move, I'm going to squeeze it again. So you can see I'm sort of not squeezing now, squeezing as I get to where I want a big dollop to be. Not squeezing and then squeezing. So make sure that you fill in all of your little sides, turn it around, do the other side. And just coming around. Make sure that you also fill in the top so that you've got quite a bit of that white chocolate on the top. And then you want to hold it completely upright and just tap your wrist. So as you tap your wrist, you can see there, and if I turn it around, all of that chocolate's just drizzling down really nicely. It gives it a really nice smooth drizzle and it makes it kind of look a little bit haphazard. Now working quickly so that your white chocolate doesn't dry, just take your sprinkles and just sprinkle them on. Because we've let that dark chocolate completely set, it's only going to stick to your white chocolate and it will just fall off your dark chocolate. These are fabulous for so many occasions. They're great for baby showers, they're great for kids' parties, carnival events, just beach parties, summer events. They're just so versatile. They look amazing and they're a little bit of a surprise food. So they kind of look like a popsicle, but really they're a cake pop. So there you've got your gorgeous and really, really simple popsicle cake pops, or cake pops in disguise. I hope that you guys have loved watching this tutorial, and as always, thanks for tuning in to My Cupcake Addiction.